Hello? Is anybody there? Well, hello there, my dears. I'm Ms. Miller. Nice to see you today. I'm so happy to get to visit you and tell you a really cool story that I learned. And you know, this story happens to be about a queen. And the story goes with this really neat poem. And the neat poem goes like this. Queen, Queen Caroline washed her hair in turpentine, turpentine to make it shine. Poor Queen Caroline. Well, there's lots that we're going to do with this poem. But today I thought the first thing that you should do is learn the story about Queen Caroline. Now, Queen Caroline was a beautiful queen. She had beautiful black hair that was so long it flowed all the way down to her ankles, and it was so curly and beautiful. And she had beautiful skin and beautiful sparkly eyes. But her beauty was only skin deep, because inside her heart, she was not a nice lady. Oh no! Everyone that lived around her castle and that was in her kingdom were very sad, because do you know what, boys and girls? She was not nice. She was not nice at all. And you know, people were treated so badly by the queen. No one was able to work and be happy because she made everyone be her slaves. Even the farmers who would grow beautiful vegetables and fruits, they'd have to give everything to the queen, and she would take it all for herself. She was mean and greedy. Well, the queen always had many servants who took care of her. And one day, she happened to hire a new servant. And this new servant, she was really kind. And she didn't know anything about Queen Caroline. She didn't know that she was mean. She was new to the village. So when she came to the castle to work for Queen Caroline, she became her servant and took care of her. Now, the first thing that the queen always wanted was warm water in her bath. Well, if the water was too hot or the water was too cold, the queen would be so angry she would say, "You're fired!" And she would send them away and banish them from the village. Well, this servant didn't know any of that, but somehow she made the best, most wonderful temperature for the water. And the queen sat in the water and she was like, oh, actually this is nice. Well, the next thing that the queen wanted was to have her hair brushed and have her makeup put on. And this servant didn't know that the queen would fire people if it wasn't done right. Well, this servant was very good at putting her makeup on and did her hair so beautifully. Well, I'll tell you what, this servant was very lucky, because most of the days this queen would have fired 3 or 4 servants already by mid-morning. The servant, like I said, didn't know any of this. Well, after the queen was dressed and ready to go, she said to her servant, "You will come with me to the market." And the servant said, "Yes, milady." And she followed the queen to the market, and the queen saw a sign at one of the vendors at the market. A vendor is someone who sells product. Well, there was a beautiful sign that said, "Turpentine will make it shine." Well, this queen thought, "Well, this is what I want for my hair. I'm going to buy all of the turpentine." Now, boys and girls, just between us, do you know what turpentine really is? Back in the olden days when the queen was alive, they would use that for lice in your hair, bugs. And nowadays, turpentine, we don't use it very much, but sometimes we use it to thin out paint. It's a really strong smelling chemical, and it's very, very dangerous to use and stinky. Well, the queen said, "I'm going to buy all this turpentine." The servant thought, "Okay, well, I'll load it up for you." So she helped get everything loaded up. There was 300 bottles of turpentine that the queen bought. Oh my goodness. It was crazy because you know what? Nobody needs 300 bottles of turpentine. One bottle goes a really long way. Well, this queen, this mean Queen Caroline, said to her servant, "We are going to wash my hair with all of this turpentine. It's going to make my hair shine." And the servant said, "Oh, no, no, Queen. We're not going to put this in your hair. This is turpentine. This is not for you to use." And she said, "How dare you argue with me? You do what I say." And the servant said, "I am not going to. And you need to stop being so mean. I will not put turpentine in your hair. Turpentine is a paint thinner and it's stinky and I won't do it." The queen said, "You are fired. Leave my castle." Well, I will tell you this. She then looked at the servant and she said, "Wait! You will go to the dungeon." Oh no, the poor servant was so afraid. She was sent to the dungeon. She was so lonely and scared. But you know what happened? The queen didn't listen to the servant about the turpentine. And she took 3 bottles of turpentine and dumped it into her hair. And as she was brushing her beautiful long hair and scrubbing it all in, she started noticing her fingers were getting full of her hair and hair was falling out. And her fingers were starting to get stuck in her hair and she went, "Ah! Oh! Ah!" And do you know what she looked like? Poor Queen Caroline. This is what she ended up to look like. Queen Caroline saw herself in the mirror, and she never worried about her inside heart, but she always worried about the way she looked. And when she saw herself, she started to cry. Oh, she was so sad, and she was crying for herself. I look so scary. But then she started thinking as she was crying about all the people in her village that she was mean to. And she started crying for them and started crying for herself and how mean she was. And she cried for 3 days straight. Nobody could even talk to her. She just cried and cried and cried. Oh my goodness, you would have thought that she could have cried a river. And when she was crying, she realized that even though she was beautiful on the outside, she was not beautiful on the inside. She was mean to people. And she thought, I have to change. I have to be better. And so do you know what she did? She changed. That very next day, she woke up in the morning and she saved all of the servants that she sent to the dungeon. And she saved them all. And she made sure that everyone was taken care of in her village. And all the farmers and all the workers were able to create their very own gardens for their very own selves to eat. And she gave jobs to people, and she became kind and good. And do you know what? Queen Caroline was known as the kindest, most beautiful queen in all of the land. Now, I'm going to see if you can echo my vocal pattern. I'm going to use my what voice? Speaking voice? Whisper voice? Singing voice? Or my calling voice? What do you think this voice is? Queen, Queen Caroline. What do you think it is? Speaking voice. Well, let's all practice that together. I'll go first, and then you echo me. Queen, Queen Caroline. Washed her hair in turpentine. Turpentine to make it shine. Poor Queen Caroline. Nice job. Now practice this rhyme with Miss Westrom, and then you will get to play a game that goes with it. Oh, and the game is fun. And you're going to practice writing some notes, some quarter notes, 8th note pairs. It'll be kind of fun. So I have to say, I've enjoyed talking with you today, and I hope you have a great day. Queen Caroline says, Have a good day.